20 minutes.
Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple.
That is how long the Pentagon estimates it would take Chinese hypersonic missiles to destroy every U.S. aircraft carrier in the Pacific. 20 minutes for $13 billion, 5 acres of flight deck, 5,000 American sailors, gone. The USS Gerald R. Ford, the most expensive warship ever built, was designed to dominate any ocean on Earth. But right now, in classified briefings across the Pentagon, senior admirals are asking a question that would have been unthinkable 10 years ago. Is the aircraft carrier already obsolete? Sky Superiority. We cover the aircraft, the weapons, and the wars that define our world. If this is your first time here, subscribe, because what you're about to hear is not covered anywhere else. Before we go further, if you've ever watched a video on this channel and thought, I didn't know that, hit subscribe right now, because this video contains 3 facts about America's aircraft carriers that the Pentagon does not want widely discussed. Let's get into it. The aircraft carrier has been the foundation of American military power for 80 years. Since Pearl Harbor in 1941, when the battleship was declared obsolete in a single morning, the carrier has ruled every ocean. 80 years, unquestioned, unchallenged, until now. China currently fields what the United States Department of Defense calls, in their own words, the world's leading hypersonic missile arsenal. Up to 600 hypersonic missiles, traveling at Mach 5 or faster, 1 mile per second. And the most dangerous of them all, the DF-26, has a range of 4,000 kilometers. It is officially nicknamed the Guam Killer because it can hit American bases on Guam from the Chinese mainland. And it was tested in 2013 against a target the same size as a U.S. carrier. It hit. Then China built the YJ-21, designed specifically, exclusively, to find, track, and sink American aircraft carriers. And in September 2025, at China's Victory Day parade, they unveiled something new, the YJ-20. Western defense officials are still trying to fully understand what it can do, and they are worried. But here is what nobody is telling you. The Pentagon ran a simulation, multiple conflict scenarios, full war with China. The classified assessment, known as the Overmatch brief, concluded that under a wide range of conditions, China could successfully neutralize America's most advanced carriers, not damage them, neutralize them. And the method China would use is something that America's current defenses were not designed to stop. Stay with me, because the answer explains why America just sent a 3rd aircraft carrier to the Middle East.
The United States is also preparing to deploy a 3rd aircraft carrier.
The United States just surged a 3rd nuclear supercarrier.
The United States has taken some very ambitious and fairly aggressive action.
And why that decision may be more complicated than it appears. Every missile defense system the U.S. Navy operates was designed around one assumption. We will see it coming. Traditional ballistic missiles, even fast ones, follow a predictable arc, like a baseball thrown through the air. Track the arc, intercept the ball. The Aegis combat system on U.S. destroyers does exactly this. It is one of the most sophisticated weapon systems ever built. It can track hundreds of targets simultaneously. It can fire interceptors that destroy incoming missiles hundreds of kilometers away. Against everything that existed in 2010, it was almost perfect. But a hypersonic glide vehicle does not follow a predictable arc. It launches like a ballistic missile. Then, at hypersonic speed, it glides, it maneuvers, it changes course. It can divert several hundred miles from its original trajectory. The Aegis system was not designed for this. You cannot predict where it's going. You cannot position an interceptor in its path, because its path changes, and it arrives at 1 mile per second. The time between detection and impact may be measured in seconds, not minutes. Seconds, against a ship carrying 5,000 American sailors. Seconds is not enough. But here is the strategic detail that makes this problem genuinely alarming. Sinking a carrier is not the goal. Finding one is. A U.S. aircraft carrier never stops moving. It travels at speeds exceeding 25 knots. It constantly changes direction. It is surrounded by destroyers, submarines, and aircraft designed specifically to protect it. So China's strategy, according to the Overmatch brief, is not a single missile. It is a layered campaign. First, cyber attacks on U.S. satellites, the satellites that track targets, the satellites that coordinate movements. Without them, the carrier strike group is effectively blind. Then, electronic warfare, jamming communications, disrupting the Aegis targeting data, then a saturation attack. Hundreds of lower-cost anti-ship missiles fired first to exhaust the carrier's interceptors. And finally, when the defenses are empty, the hypersonic. Each SM-6 interceptor costs $4.3 million. Each Chinese DF-26 costs significantly less to build. Iran understood the same logic when they targeted KC-135 tankers. Don't fight the weapon. Exhaust the defense first, then strike what you really came for. The aircraft carrier, the most expensive weapons platform in human history, may be vulnerable to the same logic that costs almost nothing to execute. Right now, as this video is being watched, 3 U.S. aircraft carriers are operating in the Middle East. USS Abraham Lincoln, USS Gerald R. Ford, USS George H.W. Bush, which arrived April 23rd, the highest concentration of American carrier power in 20 years. The last time 3 carriers were deployed simultaneously was the Iraq War, 2003, and Iran has the Fatah-2, a hypersonic missile, Mach 15, 15 times the speed of sound, range 1,500 kilometers. Iran already fired hypersonic missiles at Diego Garcia, 4,000 kilometers away. So here is the question that Pentagon planners are asking right now. If China's hypersonic missiles threaten America's carriers in the Pacific, and Iran already has hypersonic missiles, and 3 American carriers are currently sitting in the same theater as Iran, is the floating fortress still the right answer? Or is America deploying its most valuable assets into the most dangerous environment they have ever faced? If you watched our video on Iran's attack on Diego Garcia, you already know that Iran demonstrated a range that nobody expected. 4,000 kilometers, double what their foreign minister admitted. That video explains exactly why 3 carriers in the Middle East is a more complicated decision than it appears. It's right here. And if you've been watching Sky Superiority through this war, you already know the weapon that wins is rarely the one on the headlines. Subscribe, because the next video covers the one system America is betting everything on to keep those carriers alive: Sky Superiority.